Hey guys, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Afro Hamurai, and yet again I've got the portable recorder, which means I'm not doing a music video, but it is kind of music related, so stick around, maybe. Now, as everyone knows, I use a lot of battery powered things. I mean, I don't think everyone knows, but I'm sure most people know. So I use this. This is the TR6S, it's a drum machine. This is the Boss RC500, it's a loop station. Plug stuff into it, it loops it. I used it in a dining table session. I use this, which is a flash. And I also use this, which is the Teenage Engineering P020 arcade. I haven't actually used this on the channel yet, so I might do like a little bit of messing around with it. So of course I have a vested interest in making sure that I don't just, spend a crap ton of money on alkaline batteries, because firstly, it's wasteful, secondly, it's expensive, and thirdly, genuinely, I don't have a place to recycle batteries that's really near me, so it's kind of just, it's a little bit upsetting. So the idea of a solar-powered rechargeable battery with USB Type-C port seems pretty cool, right? This is a really cool product, as long as you forget that at least one of the leading brands of rechargeable batteries, or at least if you look for rechargeable batteries, one of the highest rated rechargeable batteries, doesn't exist. So if you pretend those don't exist, this is very good. Oh, there's some church bells. I should find where that church is and sample it. There's also a moped leaving after delivering some food. I should have sampled that. Oh well. I don't necessarily think there's a way that these are going to charge 8 hours using solar power. I have a feeling it's going to take a couple of days. Even from their campaign video, they show someone hanging it on a window, and that window is not going to get sunlight all of the time. The only place I would really think I would get 8 hours of solid solar power would be if I left it on the dashboard in my car, and I'm not allowed to have someone smash into my car to steal some batteries. That does seem unlikely though. Like, it's more realistic it's going to take the 3 hours or 2.5 hours to charge over USB, but yeah, this energy won't be free, because I doubt that it's actually going to charge properly with the solar panel. Yeah, again, Thunderfoot, if for some reason you're sent this, which I might do, then feel free to, tell me if I'm right or wrong. They also say that nickel metal hydride rechargeable batteries, which is the type of rechargeable battery I use, that they are rechargeable, but that they have 1,000 less recharge cycles than theirs do, and that you have to use a wall charger. Yeah, you have to use a wall charger, because there is no such thing made by any sort of brand that you could even remotely trust that charges either AA or AAA batteries and charges them using USB. There is nothing that does that. Do you get my sarcasm yet? This is made by Panasonic. You charge batteries in it. As long as they're rechargeable batteries, you put them in, it charges it. It knows what it's doing, the end. They also say that there's no protection for overheating, overcharging, etc., etc. Yeah, that's because I don't think they need it. This is what has the protection in it. This is what has the overheating and overcharging protection, because generally speaking, rechargeable batteries heat up the most when you're charging them up. They also heat up when you're discharging them really quickly. So for example, with my flash, yeah, this will cause them to heat up if I'm using this relatively consistently, but then this also has some level of protection in it, not hugely complex protection, but it does have protection to prevent the batteries from overheating, because it would damage the thing if the battery's overheated. Let's go to the bit where I feel they genuinely forgot that Eneloops existed, or maybe just ignored that Eneloops existed. One of the two. I don't know. I'm just saying that, there's some stuff here. Eneloops do just as good, if not better. I'm gonna kind of focus back on this comparison. The Energizer rechargeable one very likely would have 1,000 recharge cycles, right? And their one has 1,100. So you'd be like, oh, okay, slightly better, but it's able to do, at least the same. And then you go to the Eneloops. That Eneloops can do 2,100 charge cycles. Now you might be thinking, oh well, you know, that's a lot of like charge cycles, what's the point? The plus side with Eneloops is that, you know, you basically get almost double the actual lifetime of the battery compared to the FreeEnergies for a relatively small drop in capacity. So you might have to charge them slightly more often if you're using the product quite heavily, but they last longer. When you have a battery, if you charge it up and you leave it alone for a bit, it's going to lose power. You know, like if you've like charged up your spare phone, you leave it for a couple of months, you go back to it, it might not actually have charge left. That sort of thing. These lose power at 5% per month, which they say is significantly lower than lithium ion, and lithium ion batteries will have complete power loss after 3 months. That's what they say. A relatively low level of power loss, which is pretty decent, right? Let's do some calculations. So I'm going to take 100% as, you know, the sort of baseline, right? And then when you multiply it by 0.95, which is, you know, the power loss, that is 95%. You have lost 5% of your power, you only have 95% left, right? So if we take a year, that's per month. To take a year, we have to basically multiply 0.95 by itself 12 times. So we have to put it to the power of 12. After a year, you'd have around about 54%, 55% of your battery left, right? We're going to round up because we want to be nice. So you'll have 55% battery left after a year. If I do that again, sorry, that was wrong. That dot got 11, not 12. There we go. So yeah, we have 30%. We'll be nice still. I'll call it a third. We'll be fuzzy with it. So after 2 years, you should have a third of your power left over, right? That sounds pretty decent. You leave them alone, you know, they have a third of their power left. You could maybe charge them up by USB and then leave them aside and use them as like, you know, backup batteries for when you need to replace something in your, I don't know, air conditioning controllers or your remotes or something. Eneloops will lose 30% of their power over 10 years and 10% in the first year. So just to give you an idea of what that means, to compare Eneloops a bit closer, if I do 100 by 0.95, so 2 months, the FreeEnergy batteries will have lost 10% of their power. So the exact same power loss from just leaving FreeEnergy batteries alone over 2 months is what you get from Eneloops over 1 year. That's where those power cycles start to at least catch up a little bit, because yeah, like lesser rechargeable batteries will like run down a lot quicker and you'll need to charge them up maybe as frequently. Eneloops won't. It does mean that with these FreeEnergy batteries, every like maybe 4 or 5 months you might want to do a top-up charge, and that means that over a year, even if you don't use them, you're already using like a couple of cycles. You're already starting to run into that battery's lifespan, whereas with Eneloops you can charge them and leave them alone for like 2 or 3 years and you'll likely still be able to use them and get some decent use out of them. Same with just standard Eneloops in my flashes. I leave it in my camera bag. If my flash runs out when I'm on a job, it doesn't matter because I can just put them into the flash and it works. Whereas with these, I would genuinely be worried that every so often I would need to charge them just to make sure that if I do have a random photography job or if I go out with my flash and my batteries that I've left in there have run out, then it's alright. And with these, I don't even feel like I could leave the batteries inside my flash. Like genuinely, I left Eneloops in my flash for like 2 years and then I had a job and I just went out and used them. They were fine for a good, like, you know, 5 or 6 hours. Is this me saying that the solar-powered rechargeable batteries are trash batteries and you shouldn't get them? I think these batteries are still pretty decent batteries. It's pretty cool to see a battery that charges by USB-C. The gotcha I have is that because I have, you know, this tiny USB battery charger, and at the moment I use Eneloops, and these will work with any nickel metal hydride batteries. If I don't like the Eneloop cells, if they don't perform the way that I want them to, I can just get other nickel metal hydride cells or any rechargeable battery cells and pop it into this and it will very likely charge it. I don't need to use wall power, I can use my computer. I can also use exactly the same thing they use and use a power pack and charge my batteries through that, so that would also work with this charger that I have. The only gotcha is that it's a little bit bigger, but then it also doubles up as a case for them. And yeah, yet again, I'm gonna say it, from personal experience of trying to have anything charge using the power of solar in the UK, these are not going to charge in 8 hours in the UK. I don't even think it would do it in summer unless you have a window that is facing the sun at all times. I hope you found it interesting, especially if you're thinking of getting batteries for things like, pocket operators like the Teenage Engineering one, or your loop pedals, or, your drum machines, or whatever it is. I recommend Eneloops just because I've used them for ages, and genuinely they've never let me down on a photography job or when I've just wanted to play some music for you guys on the TR6S. So yeah. If you want to see some more music related content, which makes absolute sense, don't worry, that is still coming onto my channel. Just be ready for me to have like different sort of bits and pieces, because if I can't come up with something to play, but I kind of just want to do something a bit random, I'll likely do the random thing just because I find them very fun. But if you would like to see me play with any of my specific bits of gear, then feel free to let me know in the comments. I might think of doing a Teenage Engineering one next on like the little pocket operator, but we'll see what happens.